What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Moguls. My name is Findlay-Shirras, and on today's show, we have an expert in sales, marketing, and business development. And when I say expert, I mean 30 years of experience in the technology industry with both large firms such as Hewlett-Packard, as well as smaller firms and startups. And not like the most of us, he's worked in sales, marketing, and business development. So just look at his LinkedIn, look at the numbers he's put up. He's gotten hundreds of % of growth for companies, contributing directly or indirectly to hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue. Currently, he is the co-founder of IXACT Contact, a SaaS CRM solution for realtors, and that's what we're going to be getting into. CRMs, SaaS, demand generation, online marketing, because he's an expert at all of this. And my goal is to pull as much knowledge out of this man so you can learn how to be great in real estate. So let's get started and meet Rich Gaasenbeek. How you doing?
I'm doing great
on the
Grant.
show.
Thank you very much. Man, that's quite an intro. Holy smokes.
Well, you've got a good background, my man. So for those who don't know who you are, why don't you give people kind of a 2-minute story of the companies you've worked for, the positions you've been, and why you are now in real estate and heading up IXACT Contact.
I'll try and do that in 2 minutes. Actually, you mentioned 30 years, 36 years.
36?
Yeah, so I started in '83 with Hewlett-Packard, was there first 10 years of my career. Great grounding. So basically my whole career I've been in the tech industry in various forms of it, in sales or marketing or biz dev or some combination of the above. And after HP, I worked for, the tech industry is pretty dynamic and pretty volatile. So I've been with numerous companies, but realized that I really wanted to work with more entrepreneurial organizations. So I sort of migrated from big hardware company towards software and services. And for a period of time, I was a partner in a web application development firm in Toronto for a number of years. And then the opportunity came to become a co-founder with 2 other wonderful gentlemen of IXACT Contact. And actually I just passed my 10-year anniversary. So with IXACT Contact. And we're coming up on our 10-year since our launch in September.
So there's a couple things I want to dig into, but first, having been in sales for so long, what has not changed in sales versus what has changed? Some people are talking about now Google's AI bot is just going to do sales, and salespeople are not going to exist, and people shouldn't be calling and talking on the phone anymore. And you might not agree with that stuff. So what do you think has not changed in sales, and how you can still be successful in sales, and what do you think actually has?
Good question. I actually think sales will be one of the last careers to be automated by AI. Any occupation that involves human interaction, involves emotion, reading emotions, involves judgment, involves negotiation. Humans are going to be doing that for a long time. If it's a replicable process, if there's rules you can follow, you can put an expert system or AI on it. So I think sales actually is a great career. If you're worried about your job being taken away by AI, going to sales is a great place to be. Any creative function as well is a great place to be. Although I've seen videos of AI created music and AI created art. So even the creative thing is a little bit scary, but if it's because it's not a human, there's no human interaction. Anyway, so from that point of view, I've been doing sales for 36 years, and sales still comes down to me, to talking to people, listening, understanding what's their business problem that they're trying to solve, or what's the goal they're trying to achieve, and then trying to present to them how your company's service or solution can help them be successful at solving their problem or meeting their goal. So I've always been a big believer in what I guess in the 80s or 90s was called consultative selling, which really means act like a consultant, not a pusher, right? Yeah. And ask questions and understand and present solutions and help people, right? So I think that is unchanged. What has changed, of course, is just the amazing range of tools available to us now. And let's start with CRM. I'm a salesperson. Realtors are salespeople, and I live and die with my CRM. It keeps me organized, tells me who I need to call each day. I have a memory like a sieve. So my CRM tells me, when I might have talked to you a month ago, I've already forgotten, but I make notes religiously. So having those powerful automation tools are really good. being able to access your data on the go with mobile devices is huge. Things like LinkedIn are, I'm a big believer in LinkedIn. I actually got a letter one day in the mail from, what was his name, Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, because I was one of the first 10,000 people on the LinkedIn platform.
Really?
You think 10,000, that doesn't sound like much of an early adopter. When there's 1 billion people using it, first 10,000 is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So, I kind of jumped on LinkedIn very quickly. And, if I've met if I'm going to have a meeting with a new prospect, I do a lot of due diligence. I go on their LinkedIn profile. I study where they've been, where they've worked, where they got their education, what their interests are, Facebook, things like that. So, between CRM, mobile devices, and the power of information that's available, and the networking connections you can make, none of that existed, when I first started in sales.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe that's a quick overview of what I see as some of the things that are eternal and some things that have changed. The tools are always changing. The challenges have changed a bit. In some ways, it is harder to reach people. A simple thing, there was a day when people essentially answered their phone. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily top executives. If you were the CEO of a company, you had an executive assistant, and she shielded you from that. But mid-range people would answer the phone, and people today don't answer the phone. Mm-hmm. And younger people, millennials and so on, are actually not even comfortable on the phone. They would much rather communicate via text. It's not that they don't want to have a communication; they just would rather text than talk. Mm-hmm. So those things are changing. And for someone like me who's been doing it for a number of years, I'm adapting to that too.
So one of the things that we know in our organization that we need and want is for our salespeople just to get on the phone with someone. Mm-hmm. Like the thing is, I need to get this person on the phone. I need to talk to this person, and we are constantly coming up with strategies of how to get someone on the phone or just in a dialogue face to face. What are some of your best strategies to getting people on the phone or talking to them face to face?
So, wow, that's a great question. Believe it or not, number one strategy is persistence. So, don't give up. All sorts of sales research. There's a company called InsideSales.com does amazing research. Mm-hmm. Their data says that the average salesperson gives up after 1 to 2 calls to a new lead, but the average connection is made after 7 to 9 calls. So that's a bit, if you're dealing with leads in bulk, that's a scary number. That's a lot of calls, but you have to be persistent, and you have to be clever about it. You have to be personal. If you're sounding like an automaton, it doesn't make how many calls you make. But if you put a bit of personality into it, a bit of humor, light touch, mm-hmm. Even, and you're leaving that 4th voicemail or that 5th voicemail, the person is likely listening, and each time it's a touch, and you're building your brand a little bit more. And eventually, if you haven't, you want to sound like someone, the person on the other end is thinking, you know what, it'd be kind of fun to talk to Grant. Maybe, or Grant's providing some value. Each voicemail you drop a little hint as to how you might be able to help me. So we're constantly experimenting also. I study this stuff. I read ebooks. I'm always looking at great phone scripts and so on. But I also believe a lot in multi-channel marketing. So don't just call. Intersperse that with a text. Send an email. Mm-hmm. Try different ways. I will also use handwritten notes, and I will use letters.
Really?
Yes.
When do you do that?
Handwritten notes, because it takes time. I'm pretty selective about that. It has to be a pretty senior person I'm trying to reach, mm-hmm. and usually when I'm feeling that the investment's worth it. So it's not my first go-to, it's kind of a last go-to,
yeah.
But it tends to cut through the clutter because, a senior, CEO of a brokerage or a managing broker may get 150, 200 emails a day. But they may only get a couple of pieces of direct mail a day. And a little, handwritten card, hand addressed, tends to stand out. So,
I like I heard something really good the other day from someone said, a voicemail, even if the person never calls you back, is still a quick little radio ad.
Yeah. Totally.
And so keep doing it, keep listening, because you're right. Maybe they'll eventually be like, maybe I should talk to this person. I really like that. Who have been some of your influences? What are some of your favorite sales books? Like if I'm a salesperson, I want to be better at sales. Who are some of the people that maybe I should take a look at and follow, or books that I should read because you found them really helpful?
Just before I answer that, I just want to add one last little thing just on the previous topic. One of the things that I picked up a long, long time ago from one of the senior executives of a company I was at, it was Data General at the time, doesn't exist anymore, but his big thing was, there is no such thing as no in sales. It's not yet. Mm-hmm. And that's been my attitude. I have pursued business or nurtured leads, however you want to view it, over years, and won. Mm-hmm. So to me, my time frame is just not yet. So, and I encourage all salespeople, particularly in B2B sales, in larger sales, don't give up. Take a long-term attitude. In terms of influences and books and so on, I really like. There's a guy who writes right now on sales, Anthony, and I struggle to pronounce his last name. It's something like Inarino. He's written a book called The Lost Art of Closing. Another one, The Only Sales Book You'll Ever Need. They're new books. They're written within the last couple of years. I think they're very, very good.
It's so funny. We have these scripts in our sales in our department, and everyone always just like takes the script and then just comes up with other versions of it. We tell them like, listen, and so we named the script "The Only Script You'll Ever Need." That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of sales blogs blogs that I follow. InsideSales.com I mentioned, Anthony Inarino. I'm drawing a bit of a blank, but I'm constantly getting.
Have you got
Anthony? I also like the sort of the motivational gurus like Anthony Robbins. I know there's way many more, but I'm just kind of drawing a bit of a blank.
Have you ever looked into Gong or all these like sales automation or sales enablement, AI tools for sales? Have you like started to look into some of these new technologies?
No,
I haven't either.
I probably should.
Let's talk about the IXACT Contact story. Like,
sure.
How did this thing start? Why did it start? And why did you want to start it?
Okay, so. IXACT Contact really, it started, the CEO of our company is also the CEO of another company, family-owned business that's been around for 90 years, if you can believe. It's third generation, it's called Morris Marketing. And they've, for the last 30 years or so, been providing newsletter solutions for realtors across North America. And about 12 years ago, Alan, our CEO, was running into this issue where they wanted to provide a print marketing solution, but to do that, they had to get the contact data, the addresses, and so on. And it was a very manual process. And then he started getting people saying, "Oh, do I have to send you I want my newsletter to go to these 123 people, but my data's all in my CRM, and now I've got to export it and send it to you. And what happens when I add people?" So what occurred to Alan was, maybe we should provide a CRM. And make it easier, provide more value to clients. So initially it started Alan thinking we'll create a CRM to add value for the Morris Marketing clientele. And then upon further research and talking to the fellow who became our CTO and myself, what we realized is creating a CRM is actually a massive initiative. To do it right is a big investment. So if we're going to do all that, we shouldn't be doing it for just the customer base of Morris Marketing. We should create a product and market it independently across North America. And we also felt there was an opportunity. And the way we positioned it is this, and we're talking about, say, 10 to 12 years ago. What we saw was a gap in the market. There was a really cool website at the time that listed all the real estate CRM providers. Not generic CRMs, purely real estate CRM providers. And this is like 10 years ago, there was 36 of them. But if you put them in a pyramid, there was a gap. So you had some big guys at the top, like the legacy providers. And they were big, they were established, right across North America, well supported, but a lot of their technology was old and it was cumbersome. And then you had a whole bunch of players that tended to be local, regional, 3 guys in a basement, sometimes good tech, sometimes not. Good support, but only if you lived in Utah. Built to support a few hundred agents, but it couldn't grow to thousands. And what we realized, there was a gap in the middle for a new breed of next generation real estate CRM, architected for scalability to support, ultimately tens of thousands of realtors, tens of millions of contact records, with national support, but without the complexity and sort of the barnacles that had accumulated on some of these legacy providers. And that's where IXACT Contact went in, and we kind of came in there with a superior solution to the sort of the small regional guys, but a clean, new technology, new software, and we attacked the legacy guys kind of from below.
Now, I've followed you guys for a while, and I've been pretty amazed you guys have had this $35 a month price. What you get for $35 is pretty remarkable, and it's been like that forever, right?
Small correction. It was $35 forever. About 2.5 years ago, we had a small price increase to $39.
$39.
But all existing clients were grandfathered. So in other words, anybody who joined us at $35 is $35 forever. All new clients joined at $39. But still, Grant, when you look at what you get with IXACT Contact, you're getting a next generation, world-class, robust, CRM. You're getting an entire email marketing platform. So the agent doesn't need to pay separately for Constant Contact or MailChimp. They also get a done-for-them monthly e-newsletter, which again, some companies just sell an e-newsletter and you pay $20, $30 a month, $50 a month for that. We provide a newsletter. We also provide an agent website, a full-blown agent website, customizable, responsive, 16 pages of content, lead capture form, social media integration. So even at $39 a month, it's a heck of a value proposition.
How do you guys do that?
I don't know. We're just
like there's
amazing.
got to be some technology that is different that allows you to be able to do that, or a way of organizing your company that allows you to do all this for so little.
We've been, one of the things that, and this may be going to touch on a question that I think you mentioned may come a little further. We grew the business in kind of a non-standard, tech way. We bootstrapped, so we didn't take millions in VC funding. We took zero in VC funding, and we just decided we were going to build a SaaS-based business, software as a service, and we were going to do it very carefully, and we were going to build a business based on solid technology, a great product, world-class support. But we're going to go step by step, and we're going to grow largely through referrals. Literally, you have a great product, your costs go down if 30% of your business comes in from referrals. And we probably paid a price in terms of growth rate. Maybe our growth curve was pretty good, but if we'd taken $10 million in VC funding, it might have been a bit steeper, right? So just by building a really good business, operating as savvy operators, being careful with how we spent money, we've been able to offer a really broad solution at a good price point. I actually flip around and say, I know what we've been able to offer at $39 a month without sort of gobs of money falling on us. Then I look at some of our competitors that did take gobs of money, and they don't actually have, in many cases, their solution is not as broad as ours. There's not as much there. And I wonder, what did they do with that money?
Yeah.
So rather than sort of try to explain how we did something magical, to me, we just operated as smart business people. And I think when you don't have a whack of VC money, it teaches you just a ton of discipline, and it teaches you to focus on really good business fundamentals. Too much money can lead to really bad thinking and bad practices, and we didn't have that danger or luxury, depends how you want to look at it.
Because there's a lot of startups who watch this who have raised money or thinking about raising money, and they want to use it wisely. Like, what are some of the things that you've seen or noticed or heard that companies have done with that money that probably was not so smart?
I really don't want to criticize other companies. But for instance, one of our competitors, and I'm not going to name a name, but I remember reading their press release that they were just launching Rev 2 of their mobile app. And it said right in the press release they spent $8 million developing it. $8 million for the mobile app on your CRM didn't make sense to us. We have a great mobile app.
Yeah.
And we have a great full CRM with an agent website, with a monthly newsletter. We provide content, and
Is that
So, I don't know how you do
is
that.
it overpaying people? Is it just working on a bunch of projects that never even come to life?
Could be overpaying, could be over-engineering. It could just be, again, I'm not there. I don't know. I can't explain it. But you see other things. You see a startup that really is pre-product or pre-revenue, and they're at a trade show with a massive booth. So when you don't have that kind of money, you're more careful in how you So how we drove business initially, for us was all about customer acquisition cost. We were very strategic about where can we get customers quickest and least expensive. And at the time, we launched 10 years ago, we went after pay-per-click, just Google pay-per-click. And there wasn't much competition. For whatever reason, other real estate CRM companies hadn't figured out the whole search engine marketing ththing, so we were early in it. And instantly we started getting business, and it was not expensive business. The whole world's changed now. The space we compete in is very competitive now.
Yeah.
Everybody's after it, so the cost per click's skyrocketed.
Yeah.
But for us, we grew business and we grew it fast. We also instantly started investing in SEO. And very quickly, there was a point, you put in real estate CRM, IXACT Contact was number one across North America. We're not there now because Google's algorithm has evolved, the space has evolved, and now the first 8 or 9 SERPs are review sites. So the vendors have been pushed down, and I understand where Google's come from, makes sense. But now, so now the SEO game changes. So now, you adapt. You're constantly finding new ways to drive business.
So tell me more about the ways that you guys have got customers. So Google pay-per-click, and were you selling one-to-one agent, and now you're selling to brokerages and teams? Like, how has your strategy of how you get clients and who you're going after changed over the last 10 years?
It has changed a lot, and it's constantly evolving. So we're still big believers in search engine marketing, and it's still driving a big chunk of our business. But we've gotten more strategic about what we'll bid on. We're not going to bid $24 a click for real estate CRM when it's kind of like I see some of our competitors doing that, and I think, do they know that they're probably losing money on every but we'll make it up on volume, right?
Yeah.
So we still do it. We're more strategic. We very much we protect our brand like crazy. So over 10 years, we've built a lot of brand awareness. So a lot of people search, but they're searching for us. We make sure that we get that business, whether it's organically or paid. We, from day one, had a principle, which is we're going to build a big database. So, and I know it sounds simple, but 10 years ago, it wasn't so obvious. A lot of, I can think of other companies where, salespeople would go, they would go to events, they'd go to, they'd make presentations in brokerage offices. They'd come back with a bunch of cards. They'd call everybody on the business cards and throw the cards in the garbage. And our attitude from day one was, you come into our web. You go into our CRM database, and we're going to nurture you, market to you, educate you until the end of time. Or you unsubscribe, or we convert you to a client. It's that not yet mentality, right? Maybe you're not a client yet, but we just haven't presented the right value proposition to you. So we're big believers in email marketing. About 5-6 years ago, we started doing webinars, and webinars work really well for us. And certain partners more than others. And I'm not going to tell you who our best partners are, because that's actually that's strategic intelligence. But it's people. I call them the 4 horsemen. You have Inman, RIS Media, RE Technology, and Active Rain. They're all great channels for reaching realtors. So we work with all those partners. We do webinars, we do paid advertising and so on. And then about 3 years ago, we made a big decision to start coming to events like this, like Inman Connect. We had avoided them for a long time because they're high cost, right? But and compared to online marketing, where the cost is low and it's very measurable, you know to the penny what your cost per acquisition, your CPA is, right? In things like advertising and trade shows, it's harder to quantify. But we realized we were at a point of inflection where to build our brand in the market, we have to be here, we have to be seen. And at the same time, we were starting to grow the brokerage side of our business. So initially, as you mentioned, we sold we marketed ourselves directly to individual agents and teams. There's a teams version of IXACT Contact. But we started to be pulled into, and I'm being very open about this, it wasn't a strategic move on our part. Brokerages started calling us and saying, we really love your CRM. And often the interest would bubble up from within their organization. And then finally someone fairly senior would call me and say, we've got a number of agents using IXACT Contact. Sally gave me a demo, and quick demo, it looks really cool. We're thinking of taking a bit of a leadership stance on CRM, like rather than letting every agent pick their own CRM, which is traditionally kind of what a lot of brokerages did. We're thinking it's time to pick a strategic partner, and we'd like to look at your product, and do you work with brokerages? And of course my answer is yes. Now let me go figure out how.
Yeah.
Right? We started to win brokerage partnerships, and it's a booming part of our business now. It's driving a lot of our growth is actually partnerships with brokerages and now associations and boards.
So there's a lot of startups who would love to do some deals with brokerages and associations, and they wonder how to get them done. What should they be expecting going into these meetings that they're going to have to likely do to get the deal done? So can you give the startup some insight and some advice on, you may be in the marketplace selling your product for this price, and if you are going to, and in this way with these terms or whatever, and when you want to go do a deal with a brokerage and association, expect to do this, or...
Couple tips I can share, and then this is just part of, again, what I've learned over a long sales and marketing career. When you go after this kind of business, expect a long sales cycle. Expect it to take some time. If you have some unique product, it's the only one in the world that does some amazing thing, your sales cycles tend to get shorter. You got the brokerages lining up at your door because you're the only guy. But if you're in any sort of competitive market, and CRM is ultra competitive, you got to be prepared to really invest. And I would encourage, particularly younger people that are sort of newer in sales, take some strategic selling course. There's a great book. You were asking about influences earlier. There was a book written, I don't want to say how long ago now because it's a while ago, but it's still very relevant. It's called Strategic Selling. And it's really understanding that when you're trying to sell, make a large sale in a corporate environment, there's often many, many players, and you have to learn the different kinds of players. There's your internal champion, there's your coach, there's the technical buyer, there's the financial buyer, there's the, so it's not just, a lot of times younger salespeople will think, I'm dealing with a senior guy and he loves us, the deal's done. But actually that senior guy is only one of many that are going to be involved in the decision. So strategic selling by, I think it was Miller Hyman, teaches you how to understand who all the players are and to break down what is the win for each individual player. Because the win for the financial buyer, the CFO, could be very different from the win for the CTO. In fact, they could have dramatically different criteria on what's the right solution for them.
Okay.
So I would encourage them to get some books or do some Googling and just look for strategic selling. The other big thing is, if you're going to do corporate business, you have to get away from the product push. You can't just kind of pull the string and then rattle off the 37 features that make your software special, and you've got to really turn yourself into a consultant and try to get inside their head and understand what are the real dynamics here, what are the real issues, what's the real win, political win, relationship win, whatever it is. And then from a pricing point of view, you got to be, it depends on the deal, the level of the opportunity, but you got to be prepared to be very creative. The bigger the brokerage, and this is true of any corporate sales, the more power they have and the more they're going to expect. It's called volume-based discounting, right?
How long is that sales cycle? What should people be expecting for that sales cycle length?
Anywhere to me from 3 months to a year.
And do you find brokerages say, "Oh, we don't want you to discount it"? Because let me ask you this: how many brokerages and associations will buy the service, and it totally depends on the price of the product, will buy it and then have everyone have an all-you-can-eat lunch, or hey, we just want you to be the preferred partner and we'll do some revenue or profit share or something? Have you noticed a difference in those two strategies?
There are different strategies, and we're a small company, and I am very consultative and sort of, solution oriented. So we've done created partnerships that are yes to every one of those scenarios. We have some partners that really want to have a strategic CRM partner, but they don't want to have any. They don't want to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So what they really want us to do is provide, say, some special pricing. We can still customize the software. Maybe we white label it with their logo, upload content that's unique for their agents. But the agents are still going to sign up individually. They're going to, we're going to charge their credit card. Mm-hmm. There's other brokerages and associations that want to take a stronger, and the challenge with that approach is, the brokerage is leading, but at the end of the day, it's still up to the individual agent to go sign up and put in their credit card.
Yeah.
Other brokerages will take a more aggressive approach. They'll buy what we call a site license. We call it a brokerage license, an association license, so that for a flat fee to IXACT Contact, they've got the software for their entire organization. Now, they will promote it to the agents. The agents are in some cases, the corporate entity will eat the cost and just push the software out for free, because they believe the CRM is so important to agent success and agent retention that they view it as a smart investment on their end. Other brokerages will make it available to their agents, but for a fee. So the agents will pay, but of course the agents are paying a fraction of what the list price would be if they went to our website.
So let's say 2 brokerages, 100 agents in both. This one over here wants to do some revenue share, profit share, and have a preferred price, but the agent still has to buy it. This one over here says, I'll buy it for everyone. What percentage should companies be expecting is, from our experiences and other experience I've heard, you should expect this percentage of the agents to probably buy it. Mm-hmm. And over here, expect this many to adopt it, because you have to then service the agents over here and be prepared to expend resources to service. What percentage are you looking for adoption? Have you noticed when people then buy it for everyone and say, use it? Not everyone uses it.
Right.
What is that percentage? And then what percentage people will buy it?
I'm not going to quote specific percentages, partly because I could have direct competitors watching this
Right.
video. But I will say this: what we've learned, and this I think is true for any software, not just CRMs. This is more applicable to your audience. If we go with Model A, where the broker is going to promote the software, and maybe they've negotiated a little discount, a little special deal, but it's still ultimately up to the agent to make the decision, take the initiative, go to the page, sign up. If you can get 10-20% adoption, you're doing pretty well, because agents are free agents, right? If you take it to the next level, and the brokerage says, this is our software for XYZ application with a CRM or virtual tours or whatever it is, here at ABC Realty, and we've got, we're going to make it available to you at a fee, but you're paying, we're wrapping into your monthly technology fee or whatever. Then, and it's a more aggressive price point, you'll see a higher adoption. You can start to see, anywhere from 30 to 60, 70%.
Wow. Okay.
The brokerages that go all the way, where they say, we believe so strongly in the software, we're gonna buy a site license for it and just make it available to our agents for free. Then you can see adoption of 80%. I've never seen 100% of anything, because agents just don't roll that way. But I will point out, conversely, I'm aware of one situation, a large brokerage, that rolled out a pretty cool tech solution, and they made it available for free, and they got 25% adoption. And when I dug into it a bit, what I realized was the issue was all around communications. So, if you're going to do it, it's not just having picked a good tool and priced it right. The communications is a huge challenge. And if you do a one and done, we did a big email blast, or we had a company kickoff and our president stood up and talked for 5 minutes about this, or a couple of social media posts went out, and you think check mark on the task list, you're going to be at 20%. because agents move on, it goes in one ear out the other. So the companies that I see that are successful, a couple key things. Number one, they view it that the rollout of the solution is going to be an ongoing thing. It's not a one and done, it's ongoing. And here's a pro tip. For the software and tech vendors, if you can engage with the training department and get the training department to integrate their training with what your tool or software or service does, and if it's a strong training department, then you can start to see adoption rates go way up.
Let's talk about the future of CRMs and the future of IXACT Contact. One, I've even heard some people say, I don't even know if they'll call them CRMs anymore because they'll just be so much more than a CRM. I don't know anything about that one, but what kind of, I don't want to say features, what kind of benefits, what kind of things can these CRMs platforms start to do for agents down the road that they're not currently doing?
Okay, so CRM is evolving. So let me talk a little bit about where we were, where we are, and I think where things are going. So originally, CRM was really a fancy name for a contact management system. It was a database. You could have rich contact profiles. You could categorize. You could filter and search. And then people started adding things like drip email campaigns and things like that. But it was fundamentally a database. And one of the big concerns that realtors had about CRM, and what really for a long, long time kept adoption, kind of kept a lid on it, was there was this perception, and I would hear this directly from agents when I would be talking to them. They'd say, Rich, I know I should get a CRM. My trainer tells me, my coach tells me I should, my broker tells me, but I don't have a half an hour a day to invest in my CRM. So what clicked with us at IXACT Contact was the realtor was viewing the CRM as a weight around their neck. They had to work for the CRM. Well, who wants that? So we tilted, or actually swung our development efforts very heavily many years ago, like 6-7 years ago, towards automation. And the question became, what can we add to IXACT Contact that takes work off their plate? How can we turn IXACT Contact, how can we leverage the fact that it's still the CRM, that's the core of it, but what can we automate? How can we turn this into a personal assistant? In simple terms, let's turn it into a personal assistant. So now the software is working for them and they're not working for it. So that's been a lot of the evolution over the last 10 years. I like to believe that we've played a leading role in that because we have had a lot of firsts. And actually, we're just, myself and my partners, were creating a new page on our website, updating it about, the About Us page. I realized we should have a little timeline coming up on 10 years. And we started listing all our firsts along the way. And a lot of them we've been copied, but we have brought a lot of innovation to the industry. But a lot of it was around marketing automation. And of course, what comes with automation is content. So if you're going to have marketing automation, like we have a fully automated, done for the agent monthly newsletter. We have an automated social media marketing system. We provide agent websites. And you're saying, well, that's not automation. You turn it on, there's your website. Yeah, but except we added a blog, and we provide automated blog content to them. So, so content has become a big part of what we do as well. And anybody who's in marketing or has spent any time in marketing knows that content is hard. Good content is hard. So, the CRMs of today, like IXACT Contact, are not your granddaddy's CRM. They're very different. Where are we going? I'm seeing a lot of things. Integration is a key theme. So CRMs continue to expand and try to provide more and more value, because that's what we want to do, but we'll never be able to do everything, and integration is becoming key. Integration with transaction management. I talked to a firm that does some really cool predictive analytics today. Predictive analytics, but it's not predictive analytics from a geographic farming point of view, it's predictive analytics on your sphere, on your database. So, that's bringing predictive analytics, in a sense, to me, right into the CRM. So I see big data coming in, I see integration. There's I don't like to use the phrase AI. I think the industry has started to become a little loose and liberal in its use of the term AI. AI does mean something very specific. Expert systems, machine learning is not truly AI, but that's coming, it's happening. So whether you call it predictive analytics, machine learning, so more and more of that. The mobile trend is happening, and it's important, but it's been happening for a long time. What it really means is, if you've got a CRM, it better work well on the mobile device. And yet, a lot of CRMs still you're going to do it best on your laptop or at least a tablet. creating mass emails, certain things you do, but working with data in bulk. It doesn't work so well on a phone. So to me, there'll always be a need for a good CRM to be both a mobile experience, but also a desktop or laptop experience. Where else do I see CRM going? We're just constantly trying to find ways to provide more value, whether it means us developing new functionality, new capabilities, new way to help them offload yet another task, or to integrate with other companies that can provide value. It's hard to predict.
It is cool though, and they need personal assistance. There's so many things that agents do, and this database is the core of their business.
Yes, it is.
And everything just kind of stems from it. So thanks for your having a good product, and a lot of my clients use it. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity.
I appreciate
it was
the
a pleasure.
insight. Yeah, it was fun. And if you were in sales, I hope you took notes. I know I did, because this guy is an expert in sales and marketing, and he can help you build your business if you just listen, take some notes, maybe watch this again. So as always, if you want to learn more from experts in the industry, subscribe to the YouTube show and the podcast, and I'll see you soon.